Camping in the wilderness always sounded peaceful, like an escape from the chaos of city life. That's what my friends and I thought when we planned a weekend trip to Black Hollow Forest. We'd packed everything: tents, food, flashlights, even marshmallows for s'mores. What we didn't pack was a plan for what happened next. We arrived on a crisp Friday afternoon, sunlight filtering through the dense canopy of trees. The air smelled of pine and damp earth, and for a while it was perfect. We found a clearing near the edge of a small lake, set up camp, and spent the evening laughing around the fire. But as the sun dipped below the horizon, the forest seemed to change. The laughter faded, replaced by the crackle of the fire and the rustle of leaves in the wind. It felt like the woods were watching us. "Do you hear that?" Emily asked, breaking the silence. "Hear what?" Jack replied, poking at the fire with a stick. "I don't know. It's like footsteps." We all stopped, straining to listen. For a moment there was nothing. Then, faintly, from the direction of the trees, came the unmistakable crunch of leaves underfoot. "Probably just a deer," Jack said, though his voice wavered. "Maybe," Emily murmured, but she didn't sound convinced. The night wore on, but the feeling of being watched never left. Around midnight, we decided to turn in. I crawled into my tent, the thin fabric offering little comfort against the vast, dark forest around us. Sleep didn't come easily. Sometime later, I woke to a sound outside my tent. It wasn't the wind or the fire, it was footsteps, slow, deliberate, circling our campsite. My heart pounded as I lay there, frozen. I wanted to call out to Jack or Emily, but fear kept my mouth shut. The footsteps stopped right outside my tent. I held my breath, staring at the shadow on the canvas. It was a tall figure, motionless. My mind raced, trying to make sense of what I was seeing. A camper, a park ranger, or something else. Then, as quickly as it had appeared, the shadow moved away, fading into the night. I lay there, wide-eyed, until the first rays of sunlight seeped through the trees. When I finally stepped outside, Jack and Emily were already up. Both looked like they'd had as little sleep as I did. "Did you hear it?" I asked. They nodded. "It was walking around my tent," Emily whispered. "I thought it was going to come in." We decided to pack up and leave, but as we dismantled the tents, we noticed something chilling. Footprints. They circled each of our tents and led off into the woods. But they weren't normal footprints. They were huge, with long, claw-like impressions at the tips. Jack tried to laugh it off. "Must have been a bear," he said, though his voice betrayed him. We hiked back to the car in tense silence, glancing over our shoulders every few minutes. The feeling of being watched stayed with us until we were miles away from Black Hollow Forest. Even now, I'm not sure what we encountered that night, but I know one thing: the woods are alive and they're watching.